Welcome back to Tuesday with Ted and Betty. You know, one of the questions that often we're asked is, what kind of advice we would give, or what kind of advice would people ask of us often? And Ted, what kind of advice would you give, or what have you been given?
Well, I think one of the earliest pieces of advice came from my father.
Mm-hmm.
My father was a tailor, and obviously in tailoring suits and sport coats and so forth, you have to be very, very precise and good and concerned about what it is you're creating is going to work with the people that are going to wear it. So one of the very first things my father always said was that if you're going to do something, make sure you do it well. And I think that was pretty important advice for a young kid that watched his father walk down to his shop every single day, hoping to make enough money to pay for the bills at the end of the week. And that advice has stayed with me for a long time.
You often talked about that. I know sometimes you even tear up. You're sort of a softie inside. But at times, you said what courage that took to do that you didn't know at the end. Every day you have to essentially take care of your family. And that's what a lot of people, I think, in the balloon business are doing. That's some of the things that I think they have to confront. And I think it takes a lot of courage to be an entrepreneur, to work your way. And we really respect people. And certainly your dad I wish I'd known him.
And hopefully you make enough money to pay the bills at the end of the week. That's the way you get started. But I also want to share another story with you that is more business related, because I think that was also a very important advice given to me by a former boss. I had just taken over the General Mills Consumer Products plant in West Chicago, Illinois, and we were waiting for the big visit of the executive coming down from Minneapolis to address us. This was a very large plant. It was over 850 employees, over 1 million square feet of manufacturing facility to make the products of the Betty Crocker products, the Big G cereals, and all the snacks, the Whistles, Bugles, Daisies that General Mills was producing. And so the executive was coming in for his very first visit, and I had assembled all the management team in the conference room, and we're sitting there awaiting his arrival, and Mike Tracy walks into the room, doesn't say a word, goes to the board, picks up a piece of chalk, and writes, "Tigers, not pussycats," and turned around and walked out of the room. That was his presentation. Now, what better advice can be given to a management team to say, let's not be pussycats in how we go about running our business. Let's make sure that we're tigers. And ever since then, we've had a tiger picture on the wall.
Right.
As part of our...
Yeah, I noticed the tigers, not pussycats, though, is off. So we'll make sure that gets back on. If people see this, they're going to come here and they're going to want to see that picture. So that's important. One of the things that I think too, being a young person today and starting out, you were talking about, advice from your dad. And I know my mom had some advice, and I'm not sure exactly what the setting was at the time, but I recall she said, Betty, what's really important, what you do is not really that important until maybe you're 28 or so. Where she got 28, I don't know. But in any case, she just felt that, so many times you're in college or you're in high school and people are saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with your life? And she said, don't worry about it. Just make sure you do things right. You're ethical. You have standards that you live by, and it'll work out.
Get some good experience.
Get good experience, absolutely. And you don't have to have everything all sealed up. And I guess I've never really sealed everything up anyway. So I guess I'm still 28, believe it or not. Of course, a little bit beyond that. So
I buy that you're 20.
well, the other thing about advice, I think that, we've been working together for 48 years. And you keep reminding me of that at times because I keep forgetting how long it was. But I think too that you never go to bed angry. Now this is a little personal, but you never go to bed angry, and you respect each other. I think that we work together, we're together almost 24 hours all the time. But I think we have a lot of respect for each other. And if you don't, and you have to respect yourself. You respect yourself, you respect your spouse, your kids, and in turn, everybody else. I think respect is something that we're missing a little bit today.
We're, this October, we're going to be married 62 years. And again, I'm often asked, well, what's the secret? And my answer is pretty simple, is make sure that it is always an engagement, it is always a courtship.
Right.
That will last you a long, long time.
Well, it's funny too, because even before we were married, we would talk. We used to talk a lot. We still talk a lot. But we always said that it's not a 50-50 proposition. It's a 90-90. You always have to give 90, not 50. If you go into a marriage or a relationship, a partnership at 50-50, it's got to be 90-90. And you look at things that way.
And maybe that's enough of a personal answer to some of the questions. But we're looking forward to these Tuesday morning talks with Ted and Betty. Hopefully we can answer questions that are meaningful to you. I know there's lots and lots and lots of it going to come in. And we hope to share our story with you as we go along. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. See you next Tuesday.